Gentlemen of the press, my name is Wia Carter. I am the Executive Director of Team Congo. And on my right, immediate right is Mr. Yankwe Zeze, Chairman, Liberian People's Party. Then on his right as well is Mr. Stephen Riggs, the Vice Chair for Operations, Liberian People's Party. We are pleased to welcome you here, specifically in my portfolio as Executive Director of Team Congo, to this beautiful edifice. Please, we are setting up, so probably the next time you come, there could be some of the things that you are used to seeing. This press conference is going to be addressed by Mr. Zeze, the Chair of LTP. And so, may you confine your questions to what he's going to say, because there are, other steps ahead regarding the political process. For that matter, we'd like to welcome you, and we appreciate the partnership. It is so great when we call you, you come. It means that you are also interested in the better Liberia that we envisage. If you have a great democracy, that brings investors to the country. And when you have investors, your companies, media companies will rebound. And when they rebound, your salaries will go up, creative things will happen. When the otherwise is happening as we have it now, things become so difficult for all of us. It is in this light that I, on behalf of the team across the team, I'd like to welcome you and then hand you over to Mr. Zeze. Thank you.
Good afternoon to the fourth state of the Republic of Liberia. The Honorable Co-Chair, Stephen Riggs, the Honorable Executive Director of Congo, also member of LPP. We say welcome and thank you for joining us on such brief notice. The Liberian People's Party hereby announces the holding of a day of mass citizens' action on 14 December 2022 on the grounds of Capitol Hill before the seat of the People's Representatives and the Liberian Senate and the Executive Mansion, the seat of the Presidency, with the main purpose of alerting the Liberian people about a looming constitutional crisis if appropriate countervailing measures are not put into place on time. The Liberian People's Party has observed that National Elections Commission, NEC, has failed to meet its own timeline concerning the electoral process. Voters' registration, which was earlier postponed and rescheduled to commence on December 15, 2022, has yet again been postponed by the NEC to a yet undeclared date. The Liberian People's Party draws attention to the fact that unlike activities such as the National Housing and Population Census and the National Referendum, which can be postponed without disruptions of the electoral process, the date set for general and presidential elections cannot be postponed without invoking a constitutional crisis. The Liberian People's Party also notes that further to this, President Wia's term of office officially ends on January 15, 2024, the date of inauguration of the newly elected president. If due to the fault of the NEC, elections are postponed, of course, it is a constitutional crisis. It is primarily of this and other reasons the Liberian People's Party has declared December 14, 2022 as the day of activism. The day of activism is aimed at drawing the world's attention to the increasingly unbearable, harsh, deteriorating living conditions of the downtrodden masses, indisputably as a result of the 5 years of bad governance of the Weah-led CDC administration. The central theme of the protest is vote wisely in 2023 in order to end the hardship. Again, the theme, vote wisely in 2023 in order to end the hardship. Liberians should use this occasion at least to mobilize the people, so at least to prevent this cabal of kleptomania and nincompoops, other people call it gigafleets, who have generated our motherland to the lowest ebb ever in peacetime. Key issues to be highlighted in our position statement on December 14 include, for example, the increase of price of commodities. FAO, Food Agriculture Organization, stated in December 2 that the price of rice continues to go up. In fact, in some places, it goes up to 35%. Specifically, FAO was talking about Rivergy, Sarati. Other issues include the delayed and irregularity of civil servants' pay. The government has yet to pay all the civil servant employees. Another issue will be sanitization of leadership at the National Election Commission. The board members are in conflict, confusion, they disagree what to buy, whom to hire to at least supervise the biometric election. But we are asking ourselves, are we ready? Is the census on time? Will we have the biometric system ready for us to have true, free, and impartial election? We don't think that is true. The other issue will be, Mr. President is spending all the days outside of Liberia. We counting the day, is now 48 days that he will be out of Liberia. Where is the money coming from to sustain such a long trip? Did the lawmakers agree, or are in fact nothing but people who say yes to everything the president says? These are our concerns, and this is why we think going to the Capitol building to present a position statement is necessary. LPP calls upon all political parties, civil society organizations, student groups, youth groups to turn out en masse and join in a singular accord to speak out loudly and clearly to our leaders in accordance with our constitutional rights and responsibility as stipulated in Article 1 of the Constitution, which states that, quote, all power is inherent in the people, and they have the right to decide, to assemble, to ask the government to do what it is supposed to do. They can decide to alter and reform based on their desire and wishes. But why did we come to this issue today that we prefer to go to the Capitol building and present a petition? We have over the years, in fact months, especially in 2021, presented different press releases to the government of Liberia and to the senators, representatives of Liberia. Specifically, in fact, we sent a letter and appealing to the ambassador from the U.S. assigned to Liberia to say, look, the issue of electricity, where are we? We are hearing that the whole blame is shifted to power theft. Is it true that it's not power theft? What happened to the $250 million from Melina Challenge Corporation that was given to LEC? What happened to the $304 million from International Development Association that was given as a grant to LEC? What happened to the $104 million that was given by the African Development Bank for LEC? Did they buy transformers? Did they buy light poles? Did they buy wires? How come we have shortages of those things that are necessary to provide electricity? We also put the senators and representatives that from now on they should not approve additional loan to the government of Liberia because the government is insisting that it has to pay domestic creditors. And the principal domestic creditor there is the central bank. What's the relationship between the central bank and the government of Liberia? It's like a father and a son. Why do you want to pay 69 million to your son when we don't have money to buy supplies, to buy gasoline, to organize conferences, to at least pay people to visit the countries and see what is happening there? Or at least to try to maintain the roads in different counties, River G, Sano County, Lufa County, where you don't have people moving up and down, which is strangulating the economy. We also wrote the national legislature to begin to find out what happened to NASCA, the Social and Welfare Administration that is handling the pension and retirement funds. How much money do we have in the banks that tomorrow, if we have a disaster and NASCA has to pay up a huge amount of money, they will go right to the bank and take the money away from there? We know that the government is forcing NASCA to buy promissory notes that you might call bonds. That's not how a government should be running. And these are the reasons we believe that if we're going to institute democracy, besides issuing press releases, besides publishing articles, besides writing articles, it is good to go to the Capitol building and present your statement in the presence of news media, calling on the government and the international community to say that we are tired, the hardship is too much, there is a need for the lawmakers to do something. We are calling on you to vote wisely so that we can make sure not only President Guida will be out of job, but the senators and representatives will be out of job come 2023. Thank you.
Okay, so with that beautiful statement of the chairman, Liberian People's Party, probably there are things he must have said that he didn't understand and he needed some clarity. So kindly confine, I use that word in quote, and not to restrict you, but because of the subject matter, kindly base your questioning around what is just mentioned. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Thank you so much. My name is Tarzan Reddy. I write for the Independent Food newspaper. Yeah, basically there have been a CPP, the Collaborating Political Party, attend a lot of peaceful rally on the 17th of December, and you, as a LPP, as an opposition political party, plan another rally on the 14th of December. With just one day, and let's say night before last, we went to see at Volta Liberia where some staff of the CPP went to present their case and went to call on the Liberian people that they have a slogan called "Retired Sovereign." And you are saying, I think your slogan is almost the same. And we saw attacks from our forces on the CPP. Can you see if there any way that the both parties can come together, maybe collaborate and have a peaceful rally, because it's almost similar to what you guys are talking about and the CPP are talking about?
Thank you for that very important question. When we were contemplating on the rally, we heard about the December 17th, and we asked some of our police to contact the CPP representatives. But we have a problem. As you already know by now, the CPP is not legal because the Supreme Court has asked the National Election Commission to review the complaint of Senator Lawrence. So if it is ANC, one thing, but CPP technically is not legal. But beyond that, we still contacted them to see if there was a way, at least remove CPP and say ANC. They rejected the idea. Moreover, they are saying specifically, their rally is not about consulting people, rather it's about saying you go there, basically you'll be endorsing the candidate. You'll not be preparing to educate the people about the suffering. We want to educate the people on why they're suffering and how we can end the hardship. To end this hardship, don't go in the bush, wait for 2023 and vote wisely. You will end the suffering or the hardship.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Joseph Tumbe, right for the Democrat newspaper. And we have less than 1 year to election. There have been some circumstances posted a whole lot of problem on citizens, like the great shortage of gas in Liberian, including a lot of protests among government workers. But when did the people and your party realize that this is the rightful time to have the protest?
Like we said to you earlier, we have been writing articles, press releases. I've sent a lot of releases on behalf of LPP to the managing director, our best, the honorable. And you guys are aware, we've been pushing these issues. But we're saying now, it's about time to go out publicly and show to the world that we are here to tell the people that we are tired. We want people to pay attention. We want the lawmakers to become at least the lawmakers that were elected to defend the people. So yes, I remember last year, the youth wing of LPP presented a position statement at the American Embassy. We also joined the university students to participate in demonstrations. So this is not a fight, the youth wing did that.
Okay, follow up for my question.
Yes, please.
Okay, why is it about time now we have less than 1 more year to election?
But demonstration is part of the democratic process. You can write releases, you can also go out there and rally. That's part of the democratic process. If you just stay in a saloon, in a bathroom, you know, in an ivory tower and put out your press releases, in my mind, that is insufficient. One of the ways to institute the democratic process is to go in the streets and call on the people that you are very serious. You don't want just be an academician writing papers. You also want to go in the street and show your face.
Let me just.
Yes.
And also, it's possible that from now to October next year, 2022, the president or the will be as president of this country will change, make a difference. So, come over protest, that will show to him that people are serious. With a different routine.
Yeah, my name is Siawa Biabu, I report for QFM. Thank you so much for the interest so far. But it is actually the right of every citizen of Liberia to assemble peacefully. But most of the things as we've been following, most of these gatherings resort to violence, and this goes on. And often the Justice Ministry sometimes comes and say they are not work. One question is, have you been able to inform the Justice Ministry?
Yes,
And what assurance can you give us that this your gathering will be for the violence and just send a message?
What assurance we will give you, one thing we'll make sure we're not going to the streets to walk down the streets. We're going straight to the Capitol building to present our statements. That's what we're going to do. Now, can I guarantee you that somebody who is not part of us will try to undermine what we drink? I cannot guarantee that. But you can rest assured we are the chill party. We not like other parties that allow their people to challenge people or try to beat them up because they want to exercise their constitutional rights. We don't think we are involved in that, and we're not willing to have anybody to do otherwise.
Yes, Aaron.
Yes, I'm here on Talu for Spoon. And quite recently, Councillor Bongo, in one of the rare appearances in America, he said the guy who is calling for the December 7 campaign, he is not the rightful messenger. So therefore, LPP and people in opposition should not form a party. That statement, it is LPP position or was a personal opinion?
But let's look at it. Who is the person you're talking about? Louis Brown. Can Louis Brown actually be a changer? If Alexander Cummings, the Honorable, is talking about doing things new, the new way, is that a new way? To have somebody who used gun to kill people to be the man of the face of this rally? Can you convince people? You see, If you talk about morality, you got to exercise morality. You got to do it in every form and shape. You can't say you want to do things the new way, and you bring an old guy, the old guys back to be ahead of the campaign. I don't think Councillor Gonzo was wrong to say so. That's the position we have maintained.
So it's the party position.
We don't see ourselves associating with people who have killed people, and they will be calling up orders to come and demonstrate for new killers. He was involved in violent change until he can repent. He should be punished. He should not. I think I'm really embarrassed for Honorable Alexander Cummings to have Louis Brown at the head of this campaign. I'm embarrassed. I don't think that's what we should be doing. Is he telling me you don't have all the qualified Liberians here who can speak well? He speaks well. Give it to him. Louis Brown does that. Is he the only qualified person that can lead this rally? That you will tell, because in essence, Alexander Cummings is telling us, when you kill, it's okay. When you lie, it's okay. So what is the difference between Alexander Cummings and George Weah? What is the difference? There's no difference. I mean, for anybody to think that any member of this group here, LPP, will mind his words or her words that Louis Brown is not somebody that should lead a campaign, shame on that person.
Yes, please.
My name is Daros Kanwa, report for OK. Sir, how do you see the CBB plan protest on December 17, especially Louis Brown's campaign for that protest?
Well, Louis Brown being a campaigner is one thing from the intent. The intent of this campaign, as what we heard when we contacted them, it is basically to tell the Liberian people that Alexander Cummings is the president in waiting. And that's why we cannot, even if Louis Brown, let's assume you had the best person to lead the campaign, it would be difficult to participate in a December 17th protest, rally, or demonstration. Why? It is basically to tell the Liberian people that Alexander Cummings is the president in waiting. That's not what we want. We are telling you there are issues affecting the country. Let us concentrate on those issues. The issue of the electoral process. Look at the census. Is it going right? Look at the biometric system. Look at the old system. Which one should we carry out? We don't know. Why is it they're not focusing on that? But rather than saying we want to present Alexander Cummings as the president in waiting.
Okay. So last two questions, please. Okay. He hasn't, please.
Yeah, G.B. Johnson from the Women Forces.
The volume, please.
I say I'm G.B. Johnson from the Women Forces newspaper. Yeah, my question has to do with how many Liberian will people be expecting to gather at the grounds of the Capitol building to present their petition?
You know, if you know the history of Moja LPP, quantity means nothing to us. The substance of what we present makes a difference. We are going over there to present issues that other parties have not been talking about. How many parties raise the issue of revenue? How many parties raise the issue of domestic debt? How many parties raise the issue of the road fund? We raise issues on those. We raise questions on those issues. How many parties raise the issue of electricity? Let's take for example. Are the people in River G employed to be able to pay for electricity? Are the people in Babolu County, Bomi County employed in order to pay for electricity? Although we are jubilating that electricity is going to be there? Or are we creating another lane of subsidy? We have subsidy for rice. Pretty soon we'll have subsidy for electricity. You're providing electricity to counties where you don't even have commercial bank, where you don't have employment. These are the issues we want to raise. Our issues are different. We're not interested in numbers. We believe if we present those issues to the public, even if they didn't go to the demonstration, they will believe that we mean business. Again, that's why the issue of collaboration, we're telling people, can we begin to get together and discuss these issues and forget about dividing jobs? Because the way we see that collaboration is to divide jobs. Vice President, President, Minister, Deputy Minister, Assistant Minister. We don't think that's the right way to go. If you're going to form a government of unity, government of coalition, you're just dividing a pile for people to sit down back and do things without addressing the key issues affecting us. The youth employment. How many students are graduating come 2023? Where are you going to employ them? What happened? How come more people are living in rural areas coming to Monrovia? Why? How do you make sure, what are the activities of the conditions you're going to create in those areas so they can stay there and remain in their counties? Those are the issues we want to talk about. If we discuss those issues come December 14, we will have done well. Whether one person is there to say so, whether 5 person is there, whether 15 person is there to say so, that's what we want. That's what we will be doing. So we're not interested in numbers.
Okay, last question. If we're done, then I'd like to thank you very much. And then in thanking you, I'd like to say to you that this broom that you see with our icon, you see with our standard bearer, Councillor Tiawan Bongo, is symbolically or metaphorically meant for the cleansing or cleaning which is coming. It is not about cleaning, sweeping, practically dieting the house. It's cleaning the I should say corruption in public service, not in private homes, but in public service. So Councillor, as president of this country, is going to go after people that have hurt this country in some way by stealing the state money, by even abusing their offices. When all these cleansing are done, monies that will come out of the cleaning into our coffers will be turned into providing the services that Chair Zizi is talking about. It is corruption that has made money to not be available to the extent that these services, I guess, are not being provided. So much so that the little money coming, people fight over and take it and put it in their pockets. So when we have all this money out of Councillor Gongo cleaning the public space, we will do free education. We will do free medical care for pregnant women, for infants, for the elderly. The free education I'm talking about will go with free tuition, go with free uniforms, textbooks, even eating at school, and it's going to be compulsory. So all this said, this broom, you see it with Councillor Gongo, he's not bluffing with it. People see the laugh. It's not to be laughed at, but please take it as your own, because it's meant to cleanse Liberia. So when Liberia is cleaned, and we have a great nation, like Ghanaians are bluffing with Ghana now, after Rollins has cleaned it up, we can have good economy, and then all of you are young people, you can have great wives, good-looking children, well-educated, and then that's it. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate the partnership.